the most of your Walt Disney World vacation.
The top 6 things I'd do at Disney World if money were no object. Hi, I'm Herb Leibacher, and welcome to episode number 116 of the World of Walt podcast. Make the most of your Walt Disney World vacation for the week of May 7th, 2017. This is the podcast for Walt Disney World fans, whether you're planning your next trip or just enjoy reliving a little bit of Disney magic. While there is no denying that a Disney vacation is expensive, there are some options available that are primarily for those folks who are well-heeled, whatever well-heeled means. These are things that you do if your last name ends in Buffett or Gates or Warbucks. If you've got the cash, Disney has the experience. So today we're going to take a look at the top 6 things I'd do at Disney World if money were no object. To help me explore this topic, I'd like to welcome a man who is rich in style and in heart, if maybe not in stocks and bonds, Russ Reeves. Russ, welcome back.
Thanks, Herb. If I am rich in those areas, it would be the only area in which I am rich. But this is going to be fun daydreaming about what if we could experience Disney of money being no object. It's fun to daydream about that.
It is, and so if there's a lottery winning in our future or a mega sponsor for the World of Walt podcast, these things are at the top of the list.
Yeah, I don't know. You may remember one night we were having dinner at Captain Cook's, and I mentioned to you an idea that I had of the top 6 things that money couldn't buy at Walt Disney World, and we gave up on that idea because we couldn't think of 6 things that you couldn't do if you had enough money.
I do remember that. If you've got the bucks, I think there is a way to make it happen.
I think we had to stop with one, and that was stay in the castle suite. And we pretty much were able to come up with price tags for everything else there is to do.
Yeah. And somehow I wonder if you had the right money and the right connections, that maybe even the castle suite could happen. But I'm assuming that it can't. So for my list, I didn't put it on there.
Yeah. No, because the official line that I hear, is that it's not for sale. So
yeah,
we'll take them at their word.
Yeah, unless your last name is Tom Cruise or something like that. But okay, so this will be a fun topic. But before the main topic, our beloved warm-up question, which is, what's your favorite Disney World souvenir that's free?
Free souvenirs. There are actually quite a few of them that you can bring home with you. A lot of them you end up paying for one way or another in some roundabout way. But I'm trying to think of like completely free, just walk up and ask for it and they give it to you. I think for me, it's the celebration buttons that you can get like at Town Hall or maybe even at your resort concierge or something. If you're having a birthday or an anniversary or celebrating some special occasion, they will give you a button to wear around or badge to wear around the parks. And, it's kind of fun. I've been there before, close to my birthday, close to my kid's birthday or our anniversary, and we wear those around. People will, stop and say happy birthday to you or congratulate you on your anniversary. And, every now and then maybe you get a little special magic thrown your way. I don't think you should expect that, and it doesn't happen often, but occasionally it will happen.
Yeah, I agree that that's a great free souvenir. It's interesting. It seems like Disney has been trying out some different things with the distribution method. It used to be that you'd have to go to Town Hall in the Magic Kingdom to get one. Now it seems like the cash registers at a number of the different stores have them. And I think that free souvenir does have the option for other free souvenirs, like you mentioned, which is kind of neat, not to be expected, but something fun if it does happen to come your way.
Yeah. I think some people have this idea that if I wear my happy birthday badge, people will just throw free things at me all day. That's not going to happen. But, you might get an extra dessert at your dinner or, something like that. You might get a special seat on the ride or participation in a show or something like that. But you certainly wouldn't expect it. Just, it's fun when it happens.
Exactly. Yep. So my favorite free souvenir, which has been since I was a kid, are the guide maps So it's just a little piece of paper. I get it. And it has a map of the park on it. And now they have the separate times guide sheet as well. So you know the different times for the park hours and different events. But I always thought that was a lot of fun to take home so you could look back at the places you've been, maybe the places you missed. It's always done in a fun style with fun photography on the front. And the map is drawn out in a unique way. So I've always been a big fan of the guide maps.
I love those. I love maps in general, and I love the maps that go with the Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom game and the Pirates game. But my favorite are the park maps, and it seems like I always bring home like more than I needed to get. And recently, we made a set of coasters out of park maps, just as a little home craft project, and that was a lot of fun. I've got one sitting on my desk. It's got the Asia section of Animal Kingdom on it.
Wow, that's a neat idea. And actually, you mentioned another free souvenir, which is the Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom cards.
Oh, the cards. Yeah, those are great. I mean, I actually don't even enjoy playing the game because I think it takes too much time out of what I'm trying to accomplish when I go to the parks. But and my kids have enjoyed it a little bit, but I do always go back and get the cards because those are great fun.
Yeah, they're fun to collect. Good. Well,
yeah, especially like if you go on a special occasion like holiday parties, they always have limited edition ones that you can get. And I'm not in the trading card commodity exchange, but I've understood from some that they can be quite valuable because they are so limited. So, but they're just fun to collect for me.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. So if you are an eBay kind of person and you want to list those cards after the fact, sometimes it might be a way to earn back just a little bit of your investment in your Disney vacation.
Yeah, that's right. You pay for your Halloween party tickets by selling off your Halloween party sorcerer's cards.
That would be nice if it worked. I would be going to the Halloween party a whole lot more.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, good. Well, back to the main topic for today, the top 6 things I do at Disney World if money were no object. And Russ, you've got number 1.
Okay, so number 1 for me is one I kind of have mixed feelings about, but I have to say I would really love to do this, and that is to stay at the Polynesian bungalows. I say I have mixed feelings about it because I really don't like the fact that they're there. I wish they'd never been built, but they didn't consult me about that, and they didn't ask for my opinion,
I'm shocked.
And they're not going anywhere. So now that they're there and there's nothing I can do about it, I would love to stay in one of them. Talk about location. I mean, you're right there, front and center, undisturbed view of the magic, and it comes with a hefty price tag. So just today, in preparation for our talk, I went on to My Disney Experience and found just kind of put in some dates at random, and most of the dates I put in were sold out. But the first available date I came up with was sometime in August, and the going rate on the bungalow for that night was $2,272 per night.
Nice.
Which is more than I usually spend on my whole vacation. But I also remembered that these are DVC units, and sometimes you can save some money by renting DVC points if you're not a DVC member. So I put in the same dates for a DVC point calculator, and assuming that you could get points for $14 a point, which I think you probably would have a hard time getting bungalows at $14 a point, you'd probably have to go to 16. But assuming you're getting them at $14 a point, $1,890 per night, a veritable bargain compared to the sticker price.
That's a deal. So I think that would... Yeah.
I was going to say, to me, the location and being at the Polynesian, steps away from Dole Whip any time you want it. You're right there at Ohana, and all the offerings and entertainment that go on there at the Polynesian. Plus, you could sit out on that deck overlooking the lagoon right across the way to the Magic Kingdom. It's a really magical location for sure.
Yeah, it is a great. That would be one of those once in a lifetime sort of things to do. And you're right, the location just can't be beat with the view of the Magic Kingdom. I think maybe the folks at Disney learned a lesson in I don't know what they call them now, like cabins they're building around the Wilderness Lodge don't seem to be smack dab in the middle of the view that everyone else has, which is nice. But this concept of ultra high end accommodation seems to be one we're probably going to see more and more of.
Yeah, and I think the bungalow sleeps 9 people, if I'm not mistaken. I heard that figure back when they first opened up, but I can't remember. I think it's 9. So let's say $2,000 a night, and you have 8 of your closest friends going in, everybody splitting it. That sounds like a miserable way to spend a vacation, but that brings it down to a little more reasonable per night price per person. But, for me, I'm usually paying the way for, my family, which means I pay all the ways. It's just out of the question.
Yeah.
Out of the question. Do you know anybody who's done it?
Not personally, no. I've heard some talk about it on podcasts, but I don't know anyone who's done it.
Yeah.
Do you?
I have a friend who did it.
Oh.
Yeah, one night. And they didn't have a great experience, actually. They had some complications and things checking in and checking out. They felt like they were rushed in, rushed out, and, just was really disappointed with the value received for the investment that was made there. So that's unfortunate. And I hope that maybe by now they've worked out some of those wrinkles, because that would really be devastating to spend that kind of money and not have a magical experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I've thought about the one night issue as well. Some of these things you could maybe get an hour or a night, but one night in a hotel, if you're checking in at, 4 in the afternoon, you got to be out at 10 in the next morning. That's just not a lot of time. I think you probably have to have 2 days to have a decent experience, at least 2 days.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you chalk it up to dollars per hour,
yeah,
you're paying a lot for each hour. I wouldn't leave the room.
Exactly.
If I were staying in one, just like, hold all my calls. I'm not stepping out of this room until checkout time.
Yeah. And I don't plan to sleep either. So
That's right. That's right.
Well, that's a good one. The stay at the Poly Bungalows. That would definitely be on my list too. And actually, it's a good lead into the number 2 item on the list for me, which is it's in the same vicinity. So take a stroll over to the Grand Floridian, and you can stay in the Grand Floridian Grand Suite. So the Grand Floridian is, of course, the most expensive, typically the most expensive resort on property. And so there are 2-bedroom suites, something different, which during the high season go for about $3,300 a night. So it's like 2 guest rooms sort of stuck together. So it has a king bed and then 2 queens and a living room, coffee table, that sort of thing. And so that's the typical high end that they have a lot of. But then there are a number of suites that are available at the Grand Floridian. There's a Victorian suite, which is more than 1,000 square feet. There's the Walt Disney Suite and the Roy O. Disney Suite, which are each almost 1,700 square feet. And then even above that is the Grand Suite. So the Grand Suite is 2,200 square feet. I think it may be bigger than my house. And it's on the top floor.
Bigger than mine.
Yeah, it's on the top floor. So it's got these dormer-style windows and balconies of sweeping view all the way from the Magic Kingdom back over to the Polynesian. There is a master bedroom. There's a second bedroom. It is just a huge, tastefully, beautifully done suite, and it has the price tag that goes along with it. It's not the sort of thing, as best I can tell, you can actually price out on the website. You got to call. And so I called, and some very patient cast member tried to help me figure out how much does it cost to stay in the Grand Suite. And the problem was that Disney couldn't quote a price until I could find a date it was available. And it was hard to find dates that this suite was available. Even at these prices,
wow,
it's going. And so I finally found a date. It was open in January of next year. And during kind of a dead season, it was about $3,000 a night, so $2,918. My guess is that it's probably 1.5 times that if you go during a prime season. So I would guess
available?
This suite is probably in the $4,500 a night range if you go high season. Pretty pricey, but what an amazing experience it would be.
So I could book the Polynesian bungalow and tell people that it's actually a responsible financial decision because it's half the price of the Grand Suite.
Think of all that you're saving by staying in the Polynesian bungalows. Yeah.
By staying in a $2,000 a night place, I'm saving $2,000 a night. Amazing.
I love it when salespeople talk about saving like that.
Our minds are so warped we can justify anything. Now, you've obviously seen inside of this. Have you been in it or just seen pictures of it or what?
Just seen pictures. I've never been inside it before, but it's decorated as you would expect in Grand Floridian sort of style. It's sort of Victorian. It's ornate. There's plenty of gold, but not sort of chintzy style looking gold, but very refined looking gold and Victorian patterns and that sort of thing. So I think that one of the most interesting things about it is it's on the 5th floor of the main building. And so it's really just got unparalleled views and these huge windows that look out over, the whole Magic Kingdom area from the park all the way over to the Polynesian. So never had a chance to peek in there myself. Did see some pictures online, and it's a beautiful space. Beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't even know it existed, honestly. Typically, if I come across something on the website that says I have to call for pricing, that means I can't afford it.
I was going to insert a joke in there that said when I asked how much it cost, they said if you have to ask, you can't afford it. But I decided not to do that. Because they were very gracious in spending time with me to figure out how much it costs, which is a lot.
Now, did you tell them up front, look, I'm not buying this. I just want to know how much it is.
No. I said I really want to know how much it is. I didn't tell them why. I didn't say I'm doing it for a podcast or I'm doing it because I'm just curious, George, wasting your time. I just said I wanted to find the pricing, and they were very, very kind. And I felt bad that it took so much time to figure out the pricing, which is another amazing angle to this, and that this thing is booking all the time. It's hard to find a time when you can get it.
I thought the same thing when I was looking for dates. Now, I wasn't just going night by night through the bungalow availability. I was just kind of, I'd pick a day out of this week and a day out of the next week, and just kind of randomly go through. And I had to go through August, to find any availability. So these places are getting booked.
Yep. Not by me, but they're getting booked.
No, not by me.
Okay, that was number 2. So number 3, Russ, is back to you.
Okay, so for my next one, something that I have always, I guess to use a bad word, say coveted this, is to have a VIP tour guide. I just think walking around the park with one of those plaid-clad VIP park hosts, at your beck and call to do whatever you like would be the ultimate way, really, to experience Walt Disney World. But it does cost you. The best figures I could find, depending on date, the range was $400 to $600 per hour, and that's on top of your park admission. So you're in it. Let's say you have a one-day ticket. You're in at $100 already at that point, and then another $400 to $600 per hour on top of that. And I'm not sure. There may be a minimum number of hours. Do you know?
I would guess so. The back of my brain says it's like a 4-hour minimum, but I don't really know that for a fact. That's just kind of what popped in my head.
I was thinking it was 3 or 4.
Yeah.
On the bright side, it does cover up to 10 people. So if you're each paying your own way, you can split it up to where, it's a little less unrealistic, but still, you're adding a lot onto your already expensive day. But I wrote down some stuff from the website just to kind of describe what this is. You want me to share that?
Sure.
So it says, after being picked up from your Central Florida accommodations in a private vehicle, experience unparalleled hospitality at one or more theme parks, ride your favorite attractions, and watch magnificent parades, live shows, and select nighttime spectaculars from special reserved viewing areas. Well, I would hope so at that price. You get a flexible start time. You pick the time you want to start. You can go to multiple parks in one or more days. You can pick your favorite attractions to do, even repeatedly. VIP seating for parade shows and nighttime spectaculars. Your tour guide is described as highly knowledgeable, and it says it's a completely customized experience based on your preferences.
Sounds nice.
Now, I don't know about you, but, I feel like I'm highly knowledgeable, and I always completely customize my experience based on my own preferences. And so I'm just thinking maybe I should submit an invoice to somebody for $400 to $600 an hour.
Yeah, the problem is it would be the invoice going back to yourself. So I don't know how that would work.
That wouldn't work. Then I'd have to pay it. Yeah.
Yeah, the VIP tour guide is pretty nice. So a while ago, there was a lot of hubbub about people who were supposedly using disabled folks and the access passes to get front of line access. And it's interesting that the VIP tour guides can't say no wait for the attractions, but my understanding is they do allow you to go into the fast pass line. Pretty much, it's like an unlimited fast pass at any point for whatever you want to do. That's my understanding. And I actually, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say I've actually been in line in front of people with the VIP tour guide before and thought, aha, see, I have a leg up. It didn't cost me $500 an hour to do it.
Yep, exactly right. And the point about customizing the experience is a good one. So I know somebody who's got this job as a VIP tour guide, and he's told me some amazing stories. And it often goes hand in hand with other custom experiences that are put together. So he told me one about the CEO of a retail store, which you would recognize, who wanted to have a very special breakfast, and it was a Peter Pan themed breakfast. And the breakfast alone, I don't know, I don't have the number right anymore, but it was like a 5-digit breakfast for him and his entourage and all the people. And so if you want Disney to create a space that looks like Neverland with Peter Pan and Tinkerbell and, all the food stations you want for all the people you want, they can do it. And it often goes hand in hand with those tours, and the tour guide pulls all that together. So a very interesting service for those who have got the means.
Absolutely. And just to reiterate, I don't, but I do. Every time I'm there, I see somebody walking around with one of those plaid vests on. I kind of just think to myself, I would love to do that sometime.
Yeah. And like you said,
I actually love to wear one of those plaid vests.
There you go.
Maybe I'm thinking there's my retirement career. As I could be. I think it's more likely that I could become one of those tour guides than I could ever actually utilize one.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, that was a good one. Number 3, VIP tour guide. Number 4, I'm going to go back to the Grand Floridian again, but I'm not going to stay in the building. I'm going to go on the water, and I'm going to talk about renting the Grand One yacht. So a 52-foot Sea Ray sedan bridge yacht. It seats up to you and 17 of your best friends. And actually, this one, it's expensive, but if you were able to divide it up, it may not be so crazy expensive. So I've seen prices listed on the internet up to $550 an hour, but the price I saw on the official Disney website at the time of recording was $399 an hour plus tax. Now, that includes a captain and a deckhand. It does not include any dining. You could probably get whatever you want catered onto the ship with a butler to help out with it. But for $400 an hour, if you had 10 or 15 friends to do that, it's not so crazy. And you can do it for a 1 hour minimum. So it's a 1 hour minimum. You can't take it out for 10 minutes, which I thought would be kind of fun to do.
Yeah.
But 1 hour minimum. So the Grand One yacht is actually a somewhat affordable item on this list, even though we're still talking $400.
Yeah, if you're breaking that price out amongst several people and just going out for 1 hour, I mean, it's relatively comparable to just renting a pontoon boat or something there and going out, on your own.
Yeah. Yep.
Only it's much more luxurious, and you have somebody else to do the driving, and you can just enjoy.
Yeah. So if you are interested in a fireworks cruise on the Grand One yacht with all your best World of Walt friends, send me an email. We'll see if we can put it together.
Oh, is this the announcement of a World of Walt meetup cruise?
It's a test balloon. We'll see if anybody's listening.
Okay. This is the canary in the mine shaft.
That's right.
We'll see if the canary comes back out. That would be fun.
It would be fun. Yeah. I think the hard part would be getting those 10 or 15 people all at the same time because everyone's on their vacations at different times. But That's the hard part. So, okay. So that's the Grand One, an affordable luxury on our list. I think we may be moving away from the affordable luxuries after this one, but let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5 is back to you, Russ.
Well, when you said if money were no object, I just really went wild with this one. Because now I'm thinking about what could I do if I could just drop unlimited cash on Disney. And if I make the sky the limit, I want to at least do what I can to fix Epcot. And so I'm thinking sponsor an Epcot pavilion. Now, I don't know what I would sponsor. I don't own a company or anything. And, I guess I'd have to establish a foundation or a trust so that it could have my name on it. I wouldn't care if it had my name on it. I just want to build something to help fix Epcot and bring back the original vision of the place if as much as possible. So I'm thinking rebuild Horizons, but maybe, bring it up to date, rebuild Seabase Alpha or the original Dreamfinder and Figment, or maybe even fill in some of those gaps in World Showcase with a new country. But then I'd have to decide which country, and I don't know, Australia maybe, or Brazil, or Russia even, somewhere that's kind of exotic and different that we wouldn't be able to experience any other way. If money's no object, why not go big?
This is a really fun choice, and I think you will win the award for the most expensive option on the list, because I've got to think you're talking millions to be able to do something like this. But if you are, it would be a way to, if you do have that sort of money, it would be a way to put your fingerprint on the park for all the guests to come to the future. You hear a lot of stories about how Disney works together with sponsors, and sponsors play an important part in how it finances things. And those sponsors often have a big say in how they want the attraction to come across, or what the tone is, what the message is, what the product placement is. And I'm sure it's a collaborative effort. Disney doesn't just say, yeah, write a check, we'll do whatever you want. They still need to make sure that their product represents the Disney company. But this would be a way to really have an impact in a huge and amazing way.
Yeah, I've heard rumor recently that there may be, we may be seeing some big changes coming to Epcot. In fact, I think that's more than just a rumor. That's a fact that's been released by Disney, is that big changes are coming. But the most recent rumor I've heard is that there may be a new country coming into World Showcase very soon.
So that would be interesting. I was speaking to someone else who said, so if you got to pick your country, or pick 3 countries, what would they be? And I had a hard time doing it. And it sort of depends on what angle you take. Is it just a place you like? Is it a place where you think there are big, rich companies that were willing to sponsor it? Is it the food that you enjoy? It'd be kind of hard to pick. And I think you may pick different things depending on which hat you're wearing at the time.
Yeah, the 2 countries that, I'll say cultures rather than countries. The 2 cultures that I've enjoyed visiting the most have been in Africa and in South Asia. And I think both of those cultures are really well represented in Animal Kingdom already. So, it would be kind of redundant to put them into Epcot. But, I think Australia has some really unique aspects to it that could be brought out in a theme park. And there's even been some abandoned ideas about a Disney park in Australia. I think Brazil has a lot of unique things to offer, and some Disney history there too, with Walt's sojourn down there when Saludos Amigos and Three Caballeros was made. I guess that would mean then that they get kicked out of Mexico and moved over to Brazil. And I think Russia is so vast that there's so much diversity in the landscape and the cultures of Russia that you could do a lot with that. But the rumor that I heard most recently is that Spain is coming soon.
I've heard that one too, which seems like a good fit. It's not so foreign that people may say I'm not willing to try it out, but it also has a lot of interesting history and architecture that would be fun to explore.
Yeah, so if I were sponsoring it, I may not choose Spain, but I'll, since someone else is, I'll just save my money and I won't worry about sponsoring a pavilion right now.
Somebody's going to do it one of these days, so we'll let them take care of it.
Yeah.
With Russia, I've often thought there are plenty of oligarchs out there and gas companies and that sort of thing that it would seem like someone in the world of the former Soviet Union would have an interest and a checkbook to be able to make that happen. One other one I thought about was India with a lot of tech companies like Infosys and Tata, and I would think the restaurant would be a killer. So I've often wondered why India didn't get a shot, and maybe one of these days it will, because I would think that the money is there.
Yeah, it is. And, there would be a lot of overlap between that and the Asia area of Animal Kingdom, but I think India is so vast that you could bring in some different aspects of Indian culture, and do some really fun stuff there.
Yeah. Yep. Well, this is a good one. I think the winner for the highest ticket price item on the list, sponsor an Epcot Pavilion. So last one, number 6, is over to me. And I'm going to say if money were no object, I would want to rent the Magic Kingdom for a night. It's interesting to think about this idea. So I once, as part of a corporate event, had a chance to go to Universal Studios, which had been rented out for a private event for the night. And it's a ton of fun. I mean, there's a very relatively small crowd there. They pretty much open up a lot of the different places for food and beverage. I also know there for a fact there was a corporate event at Disney's Hollywood Studios where they rented out a part of the park, but not the entire park. Whether or not you can rent out the entire Magic Kingdom is an interesting topic. So I've heard, I don't know if there were stories or rumors, it was hard to get to the bottom of it, that maybe Michael Jackson had done this or Miley Cyrus had done this. But I've got to think if you've got the means, that Disney has a way to make it happen. I do know that as part of a special wedding package, you can rent out a piece of the Magic Kingdom for your wedding, which starts at $180,000 for the event.
Wow.
But just what that includes, so how much of the park and during what time of the day, wasn't really clear. And I wasn't going to give some poor cast member a run around to try to get to the bottom of that one. Because I'm sure that would be a very hard question to answer.
Yeah.
But I've got to think it's possible.
I'm almost certain that you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost certain you can do it. I was down there a couple of years ago. I have to stop and think which trip this was on, but I want to say maybe this was in 2015. And the Magic Kingdom, we were thinking about going, but the park was closing at like 7:00 that night. And so so I'm trying to piece together the memories, but what it was we had actually planned to eat at Ohana. And we were trying to set it up with Ohana that afternoon to make sure we could get a table where we could watch the fireworks. And they said, no, well, there won't be any fireworks because the Magic Kingdom closes at 7 tonight. And we were like, well, okay, so there's no fireworks. All right, well, we'll have a good time and a good meal anyway. And what do you know? At a certain time, maybe it's 8:30, 9 o'clock, the castle starts lighting up with the projection show. I mean, all the lights were on in the park, and the castle's lighting up, and then there's fireworks going off. And, we were asking around. Well, I thought the park was closed. The park closed at 7. What's going on over there? And we found out from somebody the next day that there had been a private event going on at the Magic Kingdom. And it seems like I remember somebody saying that it was like an Argentinian music group or something that had rented it out for filming some video or something in the park. I don't know, maybe that person didn't know what they were talking about, but they seemed pretty confident that that's what was going on. So anyway, I at least have seen enough to make me believe this is entirely possible to rent out the Magic Kingdom for a private event.
Yeah, I would think so too. I think if you have the means, it's possible. There's certainly ways to rent out certain facilities around Disney World. I know that parts of parks have been rented out, so I've got to think that if you've got the means, there's a way to do it. And it sounds like your experience just verifies that.
Yeah, I mean, it may be that, the park was going to be closing early that night anyway, and, it may or may not have had anything to do with it. But, yeah, it definitely seems like it's possible. And what we saw just really kind of confirms that you can do it.
Yeah.
If the price is right.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the price tag. So I wonder what it would cost. So I would imagine this is not a 1 hour minimum sort of thing that if they're going to open up the whole park and maybe run some subset of the attractions, it sounds to me that that's probably a 3 or a 4 hour commitment. That would just be my guess. I don't know. So I just wonder what sort of price it would be.
And I guess like having the castle show and the fireworks, this is the fireworks alone. I mean, I can imagine the price tag on that. So I would imagine those are kind of a la carte features, that you could have or not have.
Yeah.
I don't know. One year for one of our kids' birthdays, we rented out this place that has like these bouncy things in it here in our city. That pales in comparison to renting out a theme park.
Yeah, it's a little bit different scale, but both are fun. Both are good times.
Yeah.
And you didn't have nearly the dent in your wallet, I think, that you would have from renting out the Magic Kingdom.
No, it was much less expensive. Yeah.
Oh, we can dream. So it's fun to think about it. Top 6 things I do at Disney World if money were no object. Stay at the Polynesian Bungalows was number 1. Stay in the Grand Suite at the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, number 2. Number 3, have a VIP tour guide. Number 4, rent the Grand One Yacht, which is not that bad. Number 5, sponsor an Epcot Pavilion, which is big bucks. And number 6, rent the Magic Kingdom for a night. Russ, as always, it was a fun list.
This was fun to daydream about. Yeah.
Yep. So if you happen to win the lottery, I expect to be one of the first, 7 or 8 people that you call. Oh. So that we can start working on this.
Yeah, you will be on my guest list. We'll make that deal now, both ways.
All right, okay, that is a deal. I guess you have to win to play, and that's kind of an issue for me. But anyway, if I do...
Yeah, I don't play the lottery, so...
Yeah. Now I know what to do in case I do win.
Yeah, for sure.
As always, thanks very much, Russ.
Thank you.
Today we head out to the music loop of Disney's Grand Floridian, and yes, we've made it through the list of the top 6 things I do at Disney World if money were no object, but our conversation isn't over. I'd like to hear what you think about our list. Do you have something you'd like to add? You can do that by visiting the show notes page at worldofwalt.com/116. Leave your comments in the comments section and check out what other people think as well. I'd like to thank everyone who's been in touch and invite you to follow me on social media. Facebook.com/worldofwalt and Pinterest.com/worldofwalt. If you like today's podcast, I'd appreciate if you'd spread the word. Tell your family and your friends about it. To wrap up the episode for today, I would like to, as always, give you a heartfelt thank you for spending some of your time with me. I'd also like to thank everyone who visits the worldofwalt.com site, where you can read interesting Disney articles and chat with other folks who like Disney in the comments sections. By listening here and by visiting the site, you allow me to share the fun of Disney with you. And that is very cool. Thank you for being a part of it. So until next time, my friend, may God bless you.
So there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day. There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, just a dream away.